Okay, we are recording.
Okay, so this is kind of we've got people from different organizations here. So in Amtgard, I am Dame Callandra Dracula from the County of Ravenscross in the Kingdom of Golden Plains, and we have Luminary Alona TwoTrees from the Shire of Berlagmark in the Kingdom of Neverwinter. In SCA, I'm also known as Lady Serena Callandra from the Shire of Adlersrue in the Kingdom of Monstiora. This is not an official thing of anything. This is just something we're doing as a service to help people. So as part of a new group we have in Amtgard, the Online Academy of Knowledge, that we're going to be teaching classes every month or whenever people want classes. So we're going to help show how to navigate through Zoom and utilize a bunch of different features. We're going to do this from the perspective of both a participant, but also as a host or moderator. Some features that if you're hosting a class that you would need to change in your preferences that will help maximize your options of what you can do. And do you want me to start with just that first part with how to change your name?
Sure.
Okay, so
when
you see your window with yourself on it, there, and you look at the top, there are 3 little dots that if you change that, or click on that, it'll drop down a menu, and one of the options is rename. And so then you can change your name, typing into the box there.
Yes, because my last name is Lee, but my husband's last name is Hardy. And so when I'm at work, my last name is Lee, and I do a lot of Zoom calls. But when I'm on Facebook things, people know, like, who are you? I don't know. So I had to change it myself. That's why it's Kelly Lee Hardy. So people know who I am. That's fun.
Yeah. And a lot of the Zoom classes and meetings, they, if you're doing for SEA or Amtgard, people want to change it to your name for that game, so that you can put that in there. Or sometimes they'll have you want to put your name in your kingdom afterwards. So that's how you can do that.
I also think it's important to know, I wonder if I can change the, do you guys see me as a speaker view?
I see Callandra. No, I have grid, because you have control of your own view.
Let's I was going to pin everybody who was talking. I'm just going to do a gallery thing. So if you are using a computer, and this is not the same on mobile and not the same on, if you have like a tablet, it's not the same. So keep this in mind. If you're on a computer and you're using it and you want to mute your, I know we went over this a little bit earlier, but now we're recording. You want to mute yourself, or if you want to stop your own video, in the lower left corner, and I hope that I'm pointing to the left for you because I don't know how mirroring screen works very well, there's a mute button and a stop video button. And so you can make it so you can just listen in and watch. You don't have to actually be anything.
And if for some reason that toolbar is not showing, if you hover down in the bottom of the screen, it'll pop up. Yeah. Because that is one of the settings that you have to check to always show the toolbar.
And Pix just brought up a good point. You should, in the chat, there is, when you rename yourself, if you want to put in your pronouns, that will help a lot with people. So put your pronouns in. So let's, Callandra, do you want to go over the sound settings?
Yes. Okay. So the sound settings are, sometimes you may need to adjust your sound, particularly if you're doing anything that involves music, like participating in a bardic or hosting a class involving music. There's some settings that you would want to change with the sound. So when you go over to where the microphone is, there's a little arrow. And if you click on that, and this is how you can change it in the Zoom. I'm going to go over another way to how to change it in a moment. But when you click on that arrow, a menu pops up, and down at the bottom it says audio settings. So you click on that, and that'll pop up a big thing with a whole lot of choices. So if you're going to do something with music, the first thing that you would want to check is in the middle of that area, there's something that says suppress background noise. So if you're doing music, you want to choose low. And then you want to go down to the bottom of that page and click where it says advanced. And then there's two things you want to check. One, show in meeting option to enable original sound from microphone. That'll help you so that you can easily change back and forth between it. You want to check that, and then you want to check the one that says high fidelity music mode. Select that. That will help with controlling with music when things go up and down, because if you leave it on the normal auto suppression, it will try to filter out when you change to high notes from low notes and things like that, and it can sound really kind of buzzy and electronic sounding and won't give you the full effect, especially if you're doing anything with drums or anything like that, which we sometimes have. Now, some people on some devices, you may not have the options to change that. So if you don't, particularly if you're on a phone, then the other option you can do that's not as good, but it still works, is a function called turn on original sound, which on computer, for me, it's up in the upper left corner, right next to where it says it's recording, and says turn on original sound. Now, you're not always going to have that option because the person that's hosting has to turn on in their settings to enable original sound. But that is enabled here. So you could turn on original sound for when you're performing and then turn it off when you're not, if you don't have the options for the high fidelity music mode and things like that. Now, the other place that you can change that is something that I don't usually, I use a computer, and technically on a computer, you can download the app for the computer.
I keep saying the word that makes my...
I'm sorry, it's hard to do with
it's
this.
my fault. Keep going.
So, but when you go into the app version of it, you can also control your audio settings and all your other settings and preferences from there too, without having to do it from in the meeting. So that's another option of how to do that.
All right.
Which we could show. I'm hesitant to show that on a share screen because sometimes when it brings things up, it tries to show passwords, and that's why I don't really want to.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I have a screen up. I could do a share screen. I just have, I don't know. Oh, that's really bright on my screen.
It should be okay to do it from, as long as you go in the preferences and select, before you share it, select a certain portion of it.
Oh, we have somebody else coming in. I should. Hello, Richard. We are recording right now. If you want to turn off your video or your sound, I understand. So.
Okay. Recording, because I know this has been a requested class, so hopefully it'll help people with navigating for teaching and attending meetings here. Okay.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay, so do we have any questions about adjusting sound for different things? Okay.
So maybe I'll take care of video then.
Yes.
So right next to the audio, there is the video right there. Right now it says stop video, but there's also a little caret. So if you check the caret, you can, the first thing you can do is, if you have another camera, you can switch to that camera or cameras. Like for instance, I have a little workspace that I managed to clean off for this meeting. Good job, me. So you can watch me draw or something. So you can switch between having, if you are on the computer, which I can't say out loud because I have that right. That word is my trigger for my device.
I can switch between cameras too.
Yeah, so you can switch between cameras. You can also do different stuff. You can choose your virtual background. And I'm going to choose one that I have right now. I made one for myself for Amtgard. So I made a couple of them actually. Yeah. So I made that one. I made that one. Has my heraldry right there in case you wanted to see how much of a nerd I am. And you can also turn that off. So you just go into there and it says select, it has virtual backgrounds and you just turn it on and off. It's pretty easy. You can just pick
realize,
image. Really? You want?
Alona, I just realized something important that we probably should have covered first.
Sure.
View.
Yeah.
Because that would be important on seeing how we're doing things.
Okay, let me first finish this. We're just gonna go over video filters and then you can go to view. So yeah, it looks like, and it also, as Pix has just done, you can change it to video background. I have a kind of scary video background that I used for work that I won a scariest Zoom background for. Oh, let's see, where is it? Oh, I can't find it now. Anyway, but you can do, this is my Christmas one. It moves very slightly. Yes, it's really kind of freaky. And then filters. So underneath choose virtual background, there is choose video filter. And this is a fairly new feature. If you have used Zoom in the past, you have to go to the website or the App Store and re-download and get the new update for that. But you can have some pretty neat things. I am partial to this one because I'm cool. Everybody needs glasses. And you can have frames. There's just a whole bunch of different options for there. And it tracks on your face. Whee. Okay. So that is for the video settings. Is everybody cool? Any questions for that? Or, yeah, look at that Viking ship. It's awesome.
Okay. The reason I was thinking view would be important because it all affects how we're seeing things and the speaker. Right now, as we have two of us going back and forth, the grid view kind of helps. But in the upper, now this is pertaining to the device that I shouldn't say the name of that starts with a C, so it doesn't affect.
You can just say it. I'll just.
Okay, the computer. So on the upper right-hand corner, there is a thing that says view, and it's got a little grid next to it. And when you click on that, it's giving you three options: speaker view, gallery view, or full screen. So I have gallery view selected right now, so I see everybody that's in here. If you select speaker view, that will give you the main screen will be the person that's speaking. And sometimes that's helpful to be able to navigate through things. On the phone, a lot of times what it'll is you can also have gallery view and speaker view on the phone also, but it's kind of hard because it only shows you 3 or 4 at a time when you're on a phone. So the speaker view tends to be more helpful on that one. Something that you can also do as far as view is one is the person that's hosting can spotlight a person to make it to where they're the main one that's being shown.
Especially like this. Now you're spotlighted. Spotlighted.
Yes. And you can, but you also have individual control where you can click on pin or click on your little 3 dots and click pin, and you can pin the person that's speaking to the top for you so that you can see what they're doing, or just pin a particular person. So if they're trying to show something and want to see detail, this is a good way to do that.
And you do that by, if you're the host, by clicking on the little, if you highlight the person that you want to have pinned, which I need to figure out how to unpin you. Let's remove spotlight. There we go.
Yeah, and you never made me co-host.
I know, but that's one of the things I'm going to do.
Okay.
So I'm going to remove spotlight from you. Okay. It's in the, if you highlight the person on the screen even, I think you can also do it in the little menu if you have the participants list open. No, you can't. Yeah, you can pin them that way, or you can pin them on the actual video part that you see. I wonder if I can share screen this screen. I'm going to try that. And I will show you how to make people co-hosts. This won't be creepy at all. Nope. Do you guys see that, or do you see, what do you see on your screen?
I see your Facebook.
The video background? It doesn't work when you can't show the video. Never mind. Anyway, to make someone a co-host, I'll just say you want to go over, if you're a host, not just participating in a room, you want to go over to the person you want to make into a co-host, over their name, and it has a little hovery thing that says mute or more. So you want to click on more, and you want to make co-host. So right now I'm going to make Callandra co-host.
before you do that,
All right.
Kelly already has this set up, but
Mhm.
you would need to make sure you have in your preferences for your profile to allow to make co-hosts, because that is not a default setting. That is something you have to manually choose.
Yes, if you're hosting, it's a good idea to go through and look at all the settings, because there's so many settings and there's so many new settings all the time that it's hard to keep up.
Yes, they're changing a lot.
And it seems like it's every week. It's just madness.
But one of the big ones that you want to make sure is to allow for a co-host. Yes. Because that way, if you need to leave or you need to have somebody else that's going to help moderate during the class that you're running, that you're able to make co-hosts. Otherwise, you would just end up turning it over as a host each time.
I think I also, so the difference between having a basic account, which is everybody has it, it's the free account. It's basically, you click a link, everyone who can have a free account, you just need an email address to use it. The only difference between that and a paid account, Callandra and I both have paid accounts. We can go as long as we want in our conversations with as many people as we want. If you have a basic account, which is the free one, you can have a 40-minute conversation if you have 3 people. I think if you only have 2 people, you can go much longer than that. But if you have 3 or more, then it cuts off in 40 minutes. So,
but it only allows you to schedule it as a 30-minute meeting.
Yes. So that's very useful. What do you want to go over next? Do you want to go over like the chat feature? Maybe
is a chat feature is a good place to go.
Okay. So if you hover or click on the lower level, there should be an option that says chat. And I see that Pix has been using it. Thank you, Pix. And you can chat. You can decide if you want to chat to send a message to everyone is in the Zoom room or to just specific people. But do note that if you are sending it to like one person, that chat is logged along with the everyone chats. So if someone is recording and they want to have your chat log, it will show up as a text file later on. It could be like, haha, that person's ugly. That will show up in the chat logs.
And that is something else that you would change in your preferences as a host, is to allow to save the chat, whether you want it saved automatically. And there's another one option for allowing the participants to save the chat.
Yes. And John, it is working.
Okay. Not saying much, but I'm just following with everything you say here. So some of the things I don't have, I just have a Chrome. I have some of the things y'all have.
Okay. And see, and it's different on different devices too.
Yeah.
And I will warn that for those that take my classes, I do save the chat because a lot of people will post links into the chat for other things. So I save that so we can go back later and share those links and resources after the class.
Yeah, especially when we have handouts. We like to send like, here's my Google Drive link to my handout. And that's not a link that you can remember. It's just so it's good to have that.
So that's why for meetings that I host, I have saved the chat automatically as a feature now.
So another feature that you can do, and you can, oh, it's so bright. You can have share screen. And there are settings if you're hosting it where you could allow for other people to share screens as well as you can share a screen if you're a host. So you want to make sure that the settings are exactly as you want for that. So for instance, I'm going to share a screen right now. So right now, oh, there's a little caret on there as host. I have who can share, and I have only host or all participants. And then who can start sharing when someone else is sharing, and I have only host or all participants. So you could break into my share screen. But I'm going to share a screen that I have open right now. I'm pretty sure that this doesn't show any of my passwords. But this is like all the different settings you can have. It's really just a matter of just going through and be like, no, I don't want that. Yes, I do want that. No, I don't want that. Scheduling meetings, add a watermark. I don't know. So it changes all the time. But that's how you use a share screen. It's pretty simple. Another one of the advanced features, there's polls. So I'm going to make a poll for you right now. As a host, I see it on the bottom bar of my screen. I'm going to add a question. I don't know what question's going to be.
And polls is another one that you have to set in your preferences
Yes.
to be able to allow to have polls.
So real quick, keep talking, Callandra, and I'll, I'll come up with it.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, while you're looking at poll, I'm just going to add a little react to that there in response to you. Or take that off. So while she's coming up with the polls, there's also fun things you can play with on that toolbar at the bottom. There's one that says reactions, which is also something else the host has to set in their preferences to allow reactions. And when you click on that, there's different emojis that you can do.
Okay. I'm going to go back to the polls. Once you say you want a question, it goes to the website and you add the question via the website. If you are setting this up, I know because my company uses it, you can set up polling questions before the meeting starts, when you schedule it. So you can do it then, or you can do it like now. So I'm going to launch a poll right now. So you should all see a little box on your screen, and I'm going to end poll. It's on for 10 seconds. I'll end polling right as soon as everybody polls something, gives me something. All right, so now my option is to end polling. So I'm gonna share the results. Yes, 2 people voted. It's not a very good poll. So that's one of the neat things that you can do. You can also have recording. I am recording this right now onto my computer, and then I'll upload it to YouTube. But you can also have it, if you're hosting, you can record it to the cloud, which then shows up on your Zoom account. So you should.
But it's a very small amount of space that you get. So you want to check that. I know that for several of my classes, it's actually the amount that's allowed in the cloud is longer than my class, or shorter than what my classes are. And so that option doesn't work very well.
I'm only saved to my computer because of that exact same fear. So
I made that mistake once and lost one of the classes. So.
Oh, suck. So another thing that I really like, I am hard of hearing, and it helps for me to be able to read stuff, is now, and you have to go in your settings and check it, but they now have a live closed captioning. So I have a live transcript, and I'm going to start that. So I'm going to click on that. I have that as an option. This is enable auto transcription. And I hope that you all see the words on the bottom of the screen at this point. So I think that's really helpful, especially if you're trying to make your classes as inclusive and also like ADA compliant. It's good to have that. See, look, it's now DA compliant. It doesn't catch everything. That's one of the things I really like lately.
And also with as a host, if you enable the transcription, the closed captioning, there's also a box to select to be able to record the transcriptions so that people can read it later.
I did not even know that. Oh, there, yeah, view full transcript. So that's pretty cool. If you're putting captions on YouTube, if it doesn't show up through YouTube, I'm not sure. That's really helpful.
As we keep mentioning a lot about changing your preferences. So if you're going to be hosting a meeting, the 2 ways that you can do it is one, on the web page itself, and you go into your profile or your preferences.
Zoom.us and sign in. That's how you do it. Yeah.
Yes. But when you click on your little account thing, because for me it's going to be on the right hand side, and I click on the little thing for my account, and then on the once you click on my account, because I'm automatically logged in, on the left side there will be a thing that says preferences, and select which it is that you're wanting to change preferences. So check meetings, and then it'll bring up the whole list of everything that you can search through and go through your preferences. But you can also do it from the app, which you can also have on your computer, and go through and change your preferences through that too.
Yeah, I prefer the app. personally.
And I prefer the web page.
Yeah, it's just whatever works for you.
Yeah.
One of the coolest new features that we have found, in fact, we're running an online event in April, and we're going to use this a lot, so we don't have to have like 4 people with paid Zoom accounts, is the breakout rooms.
They've recently changed them and improved them now,
Yeah,
so you
quite
can
a
put
bit.
yourself in a breakout room.
Yeah, now you can choose which breakout room you go to. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all how that works. So on my screen as the host, at the bottom, there's a little thing that says breakout rooms. And so I'm going to create a room. You can create up to 50 rooms. So that's a lot. So my choices are, it says create, and then I choose one breakout room. And then the options are assign automatically, assign manually, and let participants choose room. So right now I am going to let participants choose room. I'm creating one room. And I'm gonna, all right, so my options are to open all rooms. So I'm gonna open them. And then what's gonna happen is you're gonna get the option to go to that room. And then I will give if you want to go to it, you can go ahead. Otherwise I'm gonna stay right here. And it'll create like basically a whole new Zoom room for only people in that room. And then I, as the host, can close that room and then brings everybody back. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to open all rooms. If you want to check out how to do the room, just click on go to room 1. So should have the option. Cool. So, all right, cool. So I have everybody except Pix. Hi, Pix.
I don't have that option.
You don't have that option? I can assign you as well. That is very strange. Do you not have like a floaty box that says go to room 1?
Nope.
So I'm going to assign you to the room.
All right.
And then I'm going to close the room after that. So it takes us a couple seconds.
Okay, I think I did that right.
Cool. So they're going to close in 46 seconds. Everybody's back. Cool.
Okay,
So,
I have a question.
Mhm.
So the theory of breakout rooms is great. And I see that it works very well, and I've used it temporarily very well. But my question is, or do you know, is there a bandwidth issue? So for instance, I have one Zoom account and I have 20 breakout rooms or 10 breakout rooms.
Mhm.
Is the speed and the connection of those breakout rooms going to be based a lot on my bandwidth?
I don't know the answer to that. That is a very good question.
Because since I know my interaction, well, of course, I mean, I'll keep a Zoom room open, but I didn't know if the breakout rooms, since they're tied to my account, are they also tied at least partially to my bandwidth I have at home or wherever I have my bandwidth from?
I don't know how to answer that, because
That'll be an interesting one to figure out soon, particularly with the issues I have.
I was wondering how could we test that? Could you test it like if?
Well, okay, so the Kingdom of Ettenvelt, or however you say it, in Arizona is having their event next weekend. They are using breakout rooms for the majority of things. So I think it would be good to talk to them, because as I said, Raven is helping with that in large part with that event, that he would be a good person to talk to after their event and see what their experience is on running a large Kingdom event with primarily breakout rooms.
I could test this. Not right now. What I could do is I could turn off my connection on my laptop to the internet and then log in, hotspot my phone and have my phone do that, because I'm pretty sure, I mean, I have good internet here, but I'm pretty sure my phone hotspotting would be like, I hate you, and then start like 20 rooms.
I'm sure we could probably find out by just asking the Zoom help desk.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would know.
That's true though, but I think asking the kingdom that's about to run an event what their experiences with it afterwards might be helpful too with that knowledge.
How do you?
Because they have like 4 or 5 breakout rooms they're going to be running at once for their event.
Huh. Yes, I'm going to ask, and I'm going to find out exactly where where that comes from.
That is a good question.
That's very important. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, I guess some of the next things you can do, you can have, right now I'm recording this, and I can also broadcast this live on Facebook and on YouTube, and I don't even know what Workplace by Facebook is, but it's a thing. You can do it. I've broadcast live for Amtgard. I have helped Callandra by broadcasting her court live a couple times now. And that's pretty awesome to be able to do that, so you can have live videos.
So one thing before you want to try to live stream is do a test on your own with Facebook, because not everybody has that ability. I do not, because it's not compatible with one of the things that Facebook Live uses for streaming. I can't remember what it's called, the producer or something. And once you select it, you can't go back. And so since I had selected it at one point, it will not let me live stream.
I would like to test to see if that still works like that, because that was before an update.
This is true. Maybe I've changed it, but it was not an option for me. It would not do it.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to see, because it'll try to do a test of the video first. And if it just spins and does nothing, and after 10 minutes, then you're not going to be able to live stream. You also have to check in your preferences as a host that you want to allow live streaming, and you choose the applications that you want to allow it to be live streamed to. And if you do choose YouTube, before you live stream for the first time, it takes 24 hours to get access to be able to do that. So you want to sign up with that access with YouTube to allow for live streaming at least 24 hours before you try to do it the first time.
Also, there is a 20-second delay between live action and YouTube, and you can easily get confused between the two.
Yeah, that's I watched a Twitch stream. They were teaching, and they're like, we're gonna do the 20-second dance, because the chat would come up, and like they didn't know that how it was gonna work, so just have a little dance, the 20-second dance. Because there is a delay.
Which is why trying to do a bardic with multiple people singing at the same time doesn't work very well.
I don't know what else to go over. Is there anything else anybody wants to have questions about that I can pretend that I know the answers to? Because that's fun.
So here's a question on the live streaming of text from voice. How is it with other languages other than English?
That's a good question. I don't.
So como se llama? See, it said it wrong.
It has a Y instead of the double L. So that looks like it's only in English. Okay, so here's the thing. It's not Zoom, but I was testing because I wanted to get this to work, and at first I could not get live transcript working well. So on my computer, on my phone, I have an Android, and I'm pretty sure there's got to be a Apple version of it. There's a program, and it's by Google, and it's called Live Transcribe. And actually, I'm going to use this like when I go to restaurants again in, I don't know, 5 years when we can go outside again. I'm going to take this in. What you do is you have to have an internet connection, and you put on Live Transcribe. And if you need this is just, I know it's not outside of Zoom, but you can then choose which language you have, and then it will literally live transcribe on your screen what's going on. So that's pretty cool. And it's a free program that does exactly something that I've always hoped existed. Being able to read what's going on That's great.
So have you ever had issues with people talking over each other at the same time with voice to text? Like right now.
Like right now, because we're talking at the same time.
Because we're talking at the same time. Well, let's talk at the same time.
Let's talk right now. Okay, I'm talking.
Yes, I'm talking. Yeah. So
that's confusing.
Okay.
So maybe it'll be best if we just take turns.
I agree.
I mean, in general, you should take turns talking.
Oh, there's the raise hand feature.
Oh yeah.
Trying to remember.
How do you do that? That's I can't raise hands because I'm the host.
Mm-hmm.
You can also, as a host, you can let other people record too, so that's pretty neat. That's another setting you can do.
Sometimes people, that's a setting that a lot of people don't like to give people permission to record. Because, like, say, for example, okay, we have this recording right now, but on a lot of our classes, when we get to the portion of asking questions, we will stop recording because a lot of people do not want to be recorded when they're doing that. So I personally do not give the option for other people to record the classes. I have it where only the host and co-host can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have set up, because like we're going to have the breakout rooms, you can have your co-host be able to record. So if your co-host is in that breakout room, they can record that class or that breakout room and then upload that. So that's pretty neat.
Can you make a co-host? Is there a limit on the number of co-hosts you can have? I've never tried that.
What?
I don't know if there's a limit, but you can have more than one co-host.
I'm going to make everybody a co-host. Don't abuse your powers.
Then it changes how you see things.
Yeah, you see more stuff.
Oh, so another important setting as a host is they now have a feature where you can play a chime when somebody joins the room.
Where is that? I'm trying to change that because it's annoying me. So now you all are co-hosts and you should be able to see a bunch of stuff at the bottom of your screen.
Yes.
But tell me where that chime is because I need that.
Okay, so it's in your preferences. Mm-hmm. And so you can turn on to play a sound when people join the meeting. And there's two options with it. One is where everybody can see it, or one where only the co-host and host hear it. So I choose that one because I've been in the meeting where they had it where everybody hears it, and that's all you keep hearing is the chime every time somebody joins in.
And if you're not paying attention, aka me, it's nice to have that noise. People don't sit
so that's one of the reasons why when you're teaching a class, it's helpful to have a moderator or another co-host so that they can pay attention to people into the room and moderate the chat and read the questions so that the person that's teaching can just focus on teaching. But I know I was really bad when I was doing just random craft and chat sessions, and I would not be paying attention to my screen when people were trying to get into the room. So I really like that chime feature.
Yeah, I need to update that.
I will definitely be adding the voice to text feature for all the Bonwick Zoom meetings.
Bondwick.
Bondwick, yeah, it does Bondwick, not Bonwick.
Well, I mean, it doesn't know, but yeah, it's a good.
And yeah, not on Wick. Yes, not on Wick.
Bonwick.
Here, let me say it real slowly. Let's see what happens. Bonwick.
Close.
Yeah,
closer.
Very close.
One more time. Bonwick. And now I'm Bornwick.
So I love that feature, even though it gets it wrong. It helps, so you can make like I only hear like so much. I have hearing loss in one of my ears, and I found out when this happened to me that my brain just tries to make up the difference, which is like for like 3 years before I figured out what people were actually saying. I would hear people say like really naughty stuff because that's where my brain goes. And I'm like, why did you? Oh, you didn't actually say that. So having the ability to read at the same time is great to help catch up for the stuff I don't hear.
Someone say Adler's Rue. And there's room. Adler's Room. There you go.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for any kind of SCA, and most names that are like SCA and Amtgard. No one's gonna.
Yeah.
They're not gonna understand what Neverwinter is. I mean, it's good because it's 2 words put together, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
Golden Plains, that's easy.
That's easy when it's 2 words that are put together, which is a lot of Amtgard, but like Bonwick, and I can't even pronounce some of the names of the kingdoms of FCA.
Night.
Yeah, it's gonna default to N night instead of K night.
Okay, so do we have other questions?
Night.
What did it do?
When you said K night, it said night night.
Night night. Night night, everybody.
Maybe we should say Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut. There you go.
Connecticut. Anyway,
So I like that we have about an even mix right now in the room here between Amtgard and SCA. So it's nice that we have that variety. You got me that I'm both with that. But so we've gone over a lot of different features. I mean, I know I just had to go in and change my audio settings again because I had things set for when I do Bardic. And so I had to go and change my noise background suppression back to auto because my heater is really loud. And so that's another thing to make sure that if you've changed your audio settings for a Bardic or something with music, that you want to change it back to the auto suppression when you're doing a regular meeting. And I often forget that.
yeah, there's so many settings. I must be like, before you go to do anything, check your settings. Just go through and be like, oh, that's new.
Yes.
Suddenly I can teleport. There's a new teleport feature.
So if you've turned on your original sound, most of the time you want to turn off your original sound, especially if you have pets or any loud noises around. Usually the only time you're going to turn on the original sound is if you're going to be singing or doing some sort of music and you don't have the option for the advanced audio features for the high fidelity music, because on some devices you won't have that option. So that's where that original sound is helpful.
Something else to add, and that is adding ambiance to Zoom meetings, especially Bardic. I know that I would add a co-host and they would get depending on their machine, you can get higher or lower quality video depending on the computer you have. He had a better quality machine and he got a roaring fire. So we had a roaring fire, but it was only in his box while everybody else could still see. So it was like everybody was around a campfire. So that is something that you can do if one person is willing. That's
a really good idea.
You can have one person, make them a co-host. They can share their screen and share a video.
I was going to say,
just make sure.
The only problem with that is that when they're doing the share screen, if somebody's performing, that you don't see them, and that's.
Or if you actually have a fireplace, because as a Floridian, for some reason, my house has a fireplace.
Well, no, but I mean, since
not so far.
What you do, you just do it in gallery view. I mean, is what happens. So,
well, when you share a screen, when you share a screen, there are some different preferences that you can set for sharing screen in your preferences too. And one is to where all you see is the share screen, and another is where it shares it with seeing the Zoom screens also. So that's something to play around with those options of how they look. So we've covered a lot here. Is there any questions, anything you want to see again?
I guess I should always ask the question, what is the price of tea in China? Now, when anybody asks for a question, what is the price of tea in China?
I have no idea.
See, there you go.
So do I want to stop recording at that point?
Sure, I'll stop recording.